Hello, everybody. I'm Meso from Keep the Peace, and I'm joined today by...
Hi, I'm Sokoda.
Thank you so much for being here, Sokoda. We've got a very important video to bring you guys today. I'll just cut right to the chase. Effective next week, Keep the Peace will be shutting down. There's not going to be any more videos or live streams on the channel going forward. Ninjago Cast, our longest running Ninjago podcast, the longest running podcast about Ninjago on the internet, will continue, but it's not going to be hosted on the Keep the Peace channel any longer. Rather, it'll have a new home on the YouTube channel Bindo Bricks, a popular YouTuber and soon to be former member of ours, who is going to take over the sensei role on the podcast and keep it going. For anybody who doesn't know Bindo, I doubt that very heavily, but he's a really talented dude. He specializes in video essays and character analysis videos. He has a deep respect for the lore of LEGO's story-driven themes, the character writing, the story, and there's nobody better to keep the podcast going than him. I will still be there. Josh will still be there, hopefully, fingers crossed, so that should be fine. But Keep the Peace as a channel will be shutting down. And in this video, which I hope isn't going to be 100 years long, but bear with us because there's a lot to talk about, I want to talk to you guys about why that is. Because it's not really a simple explanation. There's a lot of different things, there's a lot of different moving parts at play that led us to making this decision. And I just kind of want to be open and transparent about it out of respect for all you guys that have watched our videos over the years. So a good place to start, I think, is the catalyst kind of behind this reconsideration, because even though this isn't the reason, something did recently happen that kind of served as an excuse to make a change, and it's a really positive thing that's happened to Sokoda. And for those who might not have heard, please tell everybody your wonderful, wonderful news.
Yeah, so pretty much last year was a pretty big year for me. I finished university, and before starting with like the career I had planned, I wanted to give my long-term dream a chance, and I decided to apply at LEGO, at the LEGO group as a set designer. And I went through a very long process, very long application process with tons of like exciting adventures and meeting cool people and having cool experiences in that process. And it ended up actually working. I'm gonna be starting as a LEGO designer this year, and I'm really excited for this new job, but because of that, I'm of course taking a little bit of a step back of the stuff I'm doing in the LEGO community, including Keep the Peace.
Yeah, and I mean, it's actually very soon. It's like...
Yeah,
it's imminent.
Yes,
within a matter of weeks. So this happened, and it's such a fantastic development, and everyone who's heard is thrilled. We talked about it on the latest Ninjago cast. You made the public announcement. Everybody is jazzed. We're incredibly happy for you. But it did kind of prompt a moment of self-reflection, because I don't think it's any secret to anyone who watches Keep the Peace. Sokoda, you are a driving force of content behind this channel. You have put a lot into this channel over the years, ranging from reviews of almost every single Ninjago wave that's come out since the channel started, to hosting almost every single stream, being on almost every single episode react, doing a let's play. Like, you are Keep the Peace's heart, I would say. I think that is fair to say.
I think it's important to say, I mean, everyone else, of course, also had a big part in things, and I wanted to leave you guys all the options, so I think it would have been possible for you guys to continue without me and me transferring everything that I did to other people, but I wanted to let that decision up to you guys, of course, because I'm not gonna be there for it, so it's not really up to me.
That was the conversation we were having. Sokoda, you were incredibly kind, and you were very much like, I'll teach you guys whatever you need to know. You'll facilitate the transfer. But it was a moment of self-reflection, and I had conversations with everybody involved pretty much to gauge interest. And really, it's just not a good fit for us anymore. The issue kind of stems from the fact that if it was as simple as Sokoda moving on to working at Lego, we probably could have made the transfer. And we probably could keep operating, business as usual, nothing to it, keep making Lego content. But for anyone who's watched the channel long term, you will have noticed that from the beginning of the channel to now, there has been a steady creator bleed, I guess you could say. We have fewer people now than we did at the start, which was already a major reduction from the days of the TTV channel, where we would have like 10, 13 contributors at any point doing Lego content. Over the years, people just got busy. People moved on. People had personal turmoil in their own lives. And it got to the point where they just kind of had to stop creating YouTube content. And it doesn't necessarily mean like we're not friends with them anymore, but it's like they just can't dedicate the same time they used to making Lego YouTube content. And one of the things that I really did in my own self-reflection was, this is supposed to be a fun thing. This is supposed to be a passion project. That was always the goal. We didn't start Keep the Peace to try to get like crazy internet popularity. It was supposed to be a fresh start, a clean slate for us to enjoy Lego as a hobby and keep doing it. And I just think that one of the things I've come to terms with is that us and Keep the Peace, we lack what I would call content creator product passion, which is my very specific, weird way of saying what we really like making videos about is media. And we always have done. That's not unilaterally true. Sokoda, you obviously have a great passion for the sets. Others do as well. Yeah. People like Starbreaker, people like X-Trooper. They're all very talented mockists and builders. But they either lack the passion, or they lack the time, or they lack the space in their own lives to make videos about that kind of passion. They enjoy it on their own times. They enjoy it as a hobby. But if you set any of us down on a podcast talking about an episode of a TV show or a movie or a season of Ninjago, we could go for hours, and we can get really animated and heated, and we can talk about character arcs and visual effects and storylines, but we don't necessarily have the ability to say, just throw a dartboard on an idea, make a video about our modular city build display in our basement, or make mock reviews of our own custom creations, or do a cool alternate builds. You did some in your reviews, but you were
some in my reviews.
You were
one mock video, I think.
Yeah,
Keep the Peace.
Exactly. So you are kind of, when I praise you so much, it's less to devalue us because I lump myself in, but more just to say you were kind of the example that if we were really gonna be able to make Keep the Peace a successful Lego YouTube channel, we needed to be more like you in that way. And that's just not true. Our passions lie elsewhere. It came to the point where we were getting offered sets at such a rapid pace. Lego was graciously offering us entire waves of sets to review, and we just couldn't find people to take them, to the point where we had to start declining them. We were trying to do streams, and build streams and set reviews, and we were just so behind because people either didn't have the passion for the specific theme that was offered, or they didn't have the space for more Lego, which was a big problem I struggled with, and or just they lacked the interest to review them, that we had to start doing these things where we were reviewing sets on streams, which was always just kind of a band-aid solution to catch up on backlogged reviews. Though, in another world, I think that could have been a cool way to do it. Like, hey, a set goes live on embargo day, and we immediately have like an open Q&A talking about the set. That could have been cool, but we never really got to that point. It's just, for a lot of us, we have passion for different kinds of videos. I really have passion for video essays. I really liked the video I made about the Lego Super Mario theme and the Lego modular buildings. And I did those because, again, speaking personally and purely from my own perspective, not to speak for anyone else, I just don't find a lot of enjoyment in doing set reviews. I really tried. I tried to better my craft with them, and I think that if I compare my Dreams reviews to my Mario reviews all the way back from the TTV channel, I'd say they're a step up in quality. You know, I
Yeah.
invested in a light box. I invested in various different lights around my room. You know, I was using my iPhone camera. I was pretty happy with how those looked. And there was some fun to be had in making them from a technical perspective. Like, oh, I was actually able to make this not look like total garbage. You know, like I did it. I wouldn't say necessarily it was a passion of mine, though. I wanted to make more video essays, and I only made them in that way because I was trying to contort set reviews into something that I was passionate about. You know, like that modular video essay is just a 30-minute double set review with like a life story attached. I was desperate for something to do that I could inject some personality into.
Yeah,
And
I will say I did a lot of the more like standard reviews on Keep the Peace, and I had a lot of fun. I learned a lot about set reviews, about how to present sets and lighting and all that. I always wanted to try to have something special in every review to like, because there's gonna be so many reviews of any set that comes out and that's new. So, and sometimes you don't have a lot of time, so I always try to find a way to make it like a bit unique from a normal, just standard set review. But if you have like a fixed date for the embargo, and after that people are just not gonna care as much, it's sometimes a bit harder.
You did exceptionally, not only with getting them out on time, but interjecting that personal element. I was always a fan of the ones where you would do like the alternate builds.
Yeah,
I just thought
and
those were really fun.
it was always like I could only do one of those because like those took a lot more time than just doing like a standard review. So yeah.
Yeah, but it always made them fun to watch, and it was kind of something that, like, again, from my perspective only, I'm not a builder, so like I wished I could have done something like that, but I struggled a lot with that. I struggled with how to make mine creative or different, so I tried to kind of lean into the video essay approach, but because those subjects were very niche and they weren't current, they didn't really get a lot of attention. And they took a while to make, so it was kind of demoralizing, but that was also kind of to be expected because I took so long to make them, you know. It was this kind of thing. Yours really shined because, again, not only did you make them different, but you have that product knowledge too. Like you have an intimate knowledge with the parts, how they fit together. You build yourself, so you kind of reinforce that, and that's very good. I wish that I could have done more like that, but if I'm admitting my own faults, that's just not where my passions lie. So I'm not beating up on myself too much because I just have a different specialty of interest. But it's the kind of thing, again, if we're being real, where it's like if only one of us out of a group of like 7 has the time and or passion and or interest to do this specific kind of video, does it really make sense to have a Lego YouTube channel? That's really kind of the crux of it. And ultimately, we decided not really. Not particularly, you know. That's not to say that it was a waste, because I had a lot of fun with Keep the Peace.
Same here.
We've done a lot in the last few years. I think, when did it start? It started in December 2022, right?
I think so. I'm not entirely sure right now.
Oldest.
But
Welcome to Keep the Peace. 2 years ago. Live fact checking. Yeah, December 13th, 2022. So almost exactly 2 years and 1 month. So a lot happened in that stretch of time. We all improved our video making skills, Most importantly, we got to see Ninjago be good again. Like, I don't know, that was a dark time with Crystallized, and the fact that we didn't stop and we kept going and we got to see it get better, I'm really grateful for that, because I imagine an alternate universe where we just ended Lego content creation with Crystallized, I'd probably be way more bummed than I am right now. Like, that would have just been such a sad state of affairs. I'm glad we got to do Dragon's Rising. I'm glad we got to do Ninjago Cast. We got to see those sets. We got to do the episode reacts. Like, that's a lot of fun. And I'm grateful for all the fun times we had with everybody.
That's always the way I thought about Keep the Peace, that it's like mostly a fun outlet to do all kinds of stuff we want to do that's Lego related, and I always did the stuff that was most fun to me and had a lot of fun doing it.
That's the way to do it. That's the absolute way to do it, and that's ultimately the reason why it's ending, is because if I'm being honest about my own fun factor, I think my fun factor lies elsewhere now. There is stuff I want to do, and as I'm getting older and I'm kind of reassessing my priorities, 2025 is going to be a big year of change for me as well. I don't believe I want to do Lego content creation anymore. I have too many sets and I don't need more. I really don't. I need to get rid of some of the ones I have. And I do still want to do Ninjago Cast, but Ninjago Cast being on a channel that was not going to get any attention paid to it outside of Ninjago Cast didn't really make sense to me, which is why I had the talk with Bindo, and I was like, you actually are working on your channel still. You're trying to grow your channel. You have aspirations to do more stuff with it. Why not incorporate Ninjago Cast into it? And he was like, I'm down. And so that's why we're doing it. Because I do still have passion for the Ninjago story.
And I'm very glad you guys are continuing with Ninjago Cast.
It would be a shame. I want to be there to talk about the movie. The live action movie has to be discussed. But it's a thing that we are kind of reaching that conclusion. All of us are. I mean, on our sister channel, we're ending the TTV podcast, something that we've been doing for 15 years. And when we made that announcement, one of the things we said was, just because we're ending the TTV podcast doesn't necessarily mean we're stopping, like, Bionicle content, right? Like, that was a whole thing we said.
Yeah.
And that's still true. But if you look at our channel, since we made that announcement, we have made one Bionicle stream, and it was a Knack and Jay celebrating Bionicle Legends of Metru Nui, and that's it. So, I think at the moment, am I gonna say on this video, hey, double feature announcement, we're never making Bionicle content? No, I'm not gonna say that. But I think it's a fair and it's an honest thing to say to those of you who have been with us for the long haul. If you moved from TTV or you came for KTP, I think it's important to be transparent with you all and just say the winds are blowing in the direction of us retiring from Lego content creation. At best, it will be something we do every now and again when we have a passionate idea or when there's a topic that we want to talk about. But we just don't have the chops or the time to hang in this space. There's a bunch of other talented creators out there who are way more dedicated to the grind and the craft than we are. And so it just doesn't make sense to try to grow a channel anymore, which is why we are making the decision to bring it to an end and celebrate the good times, think fondly about the memories that were had, and move forward positively. And I still have a lot of passionate ideas for YouTube videos. They're just not really Lego. But yeah, truth be told, that's really the bulk of it. I want to thank you, Sokoda, for everything you did for the channel and for being my friend and for doing Lego videos all these years and celebrating your passion for the hobby. I speak for every one of us and our community when I say we are jazzed about you getting hired at Lego. You are going to kill it. All of our other contributors from over the years, those who are no longer with our group and those who still are, thank you guys. None of us were perfect, myself included, but we all gave it our best and we made some fun videos, some good content, and had some fun times with Lego. And I would not trade it for the world. It was an absolute blast. And to all of our audience who were always there watching, leaving kind comments, feedback, criticism, jokes, memes, support, thank you guys truly. It has been a pleasure being a part of this community. You know, it's not like you'll never hear from us again doing Lego content. We still have the TTV channel. We're still finishing the March to the TTV podcast's final episode in May, and we'll still do stuff, you know, here and again over there. And especially Bindo Bricks, you know, we'll still be doing Ninjago Cast. But I don't want to close this chapter without expressing my deepest thanks to you all. Every time reading one of your nice comments or seeing you guys show up for one of our live streams, it always makes me feel good to know that there are people out there who care about what we have to say or who want to just hang out and have a fun time with us. It does not go unnoticed. It really doesn't.
I also want to give my thanks to all of you guys for taking me in all those years ago and giving me all these cool opportunities to share my passion on TTV and keep the peace, and always being supportive whenever I had crazy ideas or wanted to do something new or something, whatever. Pretty much there was never like no, you can't do that. And of course also big thank you to everyone in the audience who watched, who supported, who gave their feedback, and in a lot of ways gave me like a motivation to keep working on Lego stuff, which eventually got me to where I am now. And yeah, thank you all so much.
Well, it's like I said on Twitter, I consider myself to be like a very small part in your story. If it helped at all, I'm really glad that this platform, this channels we've had over the years helped you in any way. And that's
it absolutely
true.
Did.
Well, I'm very glad to hear that. And it's true for anybody out there, too. I mean, we get nice comments all the time from people saying, like, you know, that this was a help. It was a fun de-stress, or laughs were had, memories were made, you know, some escapism was had. And that matters. It's matters.
Always, like, great to have, like, a group of like-minded people, similar interests, that pushes everyone in the group forward. And that's what I really appreciated always.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a very good sense of community, and it's why, you know, sometimes the YouTube grind is very rough, and sometimes being one of the people who have been trying to spearhead a lot of these channels in the past, sometimes I get very mired in the technical details, like, oh, this video isn't getting enough views. Why isn't our subscriber growth going up? Why isn't, you know, this good or this good? And it's helpful to be reminded of like the purity of it all. Yeah. And of the hobby and the friendship and the good vibes you put out into the world, and then you get those back in return. That's very much been something over these last few years, with all the fallout from like the stuff in the Bionicle community and all the other stuff we did, to kind of recenter on that and remember what's important. And it's been good. Keep the Peace in general's largely been a positive experience like that, even if it didn't work out in terms of being a super successful channel. The positive memories are still there, and they will always be there because the videos aren't getting deleted. So you can always go rewatch them if you want. Now, I will say, just to kind of address a common question before we wrap up, because I've pretty much said the bulk of what I want to say. As far as two things, that being our Patreon at patreon.com/the TTV channel, and our message boards, you know, the TTV message boards, which I don't know how many of you on Keep the Peace use, but it's board.ttvchannel.com, where you can talk about Lego or share mocks, whatever you want to do. Nothing's happening with those right away, and that's not to say that there won't be anything that happens with them long term. It's just we're not ready to to say anything about that yet. The boards are expensive. They're very expensive. They cost us a lot of money a month, over $100 easily. And the Patreon, in large part, helps keep those alive. But I'm aware of the fact that if we're not doing podcasts anymore, we only have 4 TTV podcasts left, and then those are going to be done. And it will just be the occasional Knack and Jay, and then Keep the Pieces over, which means no more Brick Feed, no more Ninjago Cast on, Keep the Peace. Bindo is going to have his own thing going on potentially. So, and already there were very few Patreon perks. Like, most people who joined, they only joined to be a part of the community or to show their support for us. It's immensely appreciated. All you guys who ever, joined the Patreon or gave monetary support through YouTube, you guys are in large part responsible for keeping the message boards up and running for the community that still uses those. I am entirely aware that people will probably stop pledging if there's no more podcasts. That is entirely your choice. Thank you for any support you ever gave us. That just kind of comes with the territory. If you still want to join to be a part of our server, that's still an active community. People share mocks and news, and they talk about LEGO stuff on the daily, and it's just a fun place to chill and hang out. But as we move away from LEGO content creation, the value of that inherently goes down. As for the boards, right now, nothing will change. They're still up and running. If it gets to the point where we're no longer able to monetarily keep them up and running, we'll have to decide what to do there. But rest assured, they're not just going to go down and be deleted. If they ever do close, we're going to provide a read-only archive. We're going to give you guys well advance notice. Don't worry about that. So nothing to announce on that at this time, but again, it would be dishonest if I didn't talk about that at least partially. Just to give you guys some clarification for that. Yeah. Once again, thank you. Keep the Peace will be going dark next week. We have one more stream we're going to do. It's going to be the goodbye stream. Very tentatively scheduled for this Tuesday, but that could change. So stay tuned to our community tab or our Twitter for an official announcement about timing and whatnot, because who knows, it could change. But that is our plan. We're going to review some sets. We're going to talk about LEGO. We're going to hang out, chill, interact with the chat, and then send it out with a bang. Thank you guys for your years of support and Keep the Peace and TTV. Thank you, Sokoda, for listening to me ramble and sharing your thoughts and ruminations about the past. And thank you to all of you guys for watching. I'm Meso.
I'm Sokoda.
And this was Keep the Peace. Farewell.